Hey, good morning. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart. I know it's been a while since I've come on here and posted, but life has happened. Nothing significantly bad. Life has gotten busy. But I do want to come on here and still try and encourage if this is something that does encourage you. And I just wanted to kind of share what I found this morning as I was re-going over the study of Philippians, and just some things that really stood out to me that I think we can actually use in this day. Background on Philippians. It was written by Paul. And Paul, when you go back and you look in Acts, Paul was in Rome, and he was him and Silas, also known as Timothy, were just walking along, and there was a girl that was following them who was saying that they were pretty much the disciples of Christ to proclaim Jesus' name. And this little girl was used to make money by prophesying or speaking the future. And Paul got so tired of it that he turned around and said, told the spirit to come out of the little girl. And so when the owners of the girl found out about it, they got angry, and they decided to go and capture Paul and Silas, and they brought them to the city courts, so the middle of the city, and they were just saying all the wrongs that they felt that Paul and Silas were doing. And all the wrongs that they were doing was not necessarily against the law, but they were proclaiming that Paul and Silas were both Jews and that they were causing the city to go into an uproar, which was against the Roman law at that time. And so they were beaten, severely beaten, and flogged and thrown in jail. Well, it goes on to say some more in Acts that after that has happened and they were chained, that at midnight they began praising and singing hymns and praying to where all the prisoners could hear. Well, it was shortly after that, guess what happened? That was when the earthquake happened. And they were able to go. That stood out to me because in the midst of their struggle, after they had been hurt, they had been beaten, they had been ridiculed, they still praised, and they still sang hymns and prayed through it all. Which during that time frame that Paul was imprisoned, he was actually he was linked to a Roman guard, and every 24 hours the Roman guard would change out. And so he was able to witness to the multiple people. Even when he was imprisoned or he was going through the struggle, he was still able to witness to multiple people. And it was through that the imperial guards men became stronger in their faith, as well as it also encouraged other Roman citizens in their faith. So I thought that was pretty significant, that although going through a struggle, they were still able to bring forth the gospel. And so that got me thinking, whatever struggle you're in, how are you still praising? Well, one, are you still praising God through the struggle and praying through it? Because if we really think about it, when we're going through something, how quick are we to pray, or is that the last thing that we want to do? The next thing I wanted to ask is, who is it that we are able to encourage and to help in the midst of our own struggle, as Paul was able to? And so just if you had a chance, read Acts chapter 16 and at least like the first two chapters of Philippians. Philippians only has like 4 chapters, so it's a small read, but it has a lot of great things in it that we can apply to our own lives. But I hope this encourages you today. I hope it causes you to stop and to think and reflect on your own life. When our lives are over, I'd like to look back at my life and try and think that I was able to help others in their walk with Christ. and that I was able to further the gospel, because that's what we're all supposed to do, is to help further the gospel. So I hope that this encourages you to reflect upon that as well, to look over your life and say, if your life were to end today, can you say that you were able to aid in the furtherance of the gospel? I hope you guys have an amazing day. It's beautiful here in the state of Maryland, as you can see outside with all the trees. And I hope you guys have a great day. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart.